Soraya, how's it going?
Hey Jeff, how are you?
I'm doing well. Still cleaning up after our Christmas festivities, getting ready for this new year, but I'm doing well. And can you believe we're up to episode 190?
Jeff, we are so close to 200. Who
Yeah,
knew?
I know, who knew? We figured we'd have anywhere between 4 and 8 when we started, maybe one or two for each of these four bands, but here we are a little while later, still chugging along.
Still chugging along, still evolving the model, but still having fun.
Indeed, indeed. So this should be the last episode of 2023, and I know we have a lot to look forward in 2024. There's a couple shows on the horizon that are of interest to our listeners. Of course, um, Rain Parade has a couple tours. They're going to be touring the West Coast with the Third Mind, and we're hoping to see two of those shows maybe. And Third Mind is a great band too. So the band that they're touring with has everybody in the band. It's kind of a super group.
You're
So
right.
yeah, a few of the people in that band, Dave Alvin from the Blasters is in that band. Victor Krummenacher, who's in a band that I love, Camper Van Beethoven and Monks of Doom. And then Willie Aaron, who's from the Southern California band, The Balancing Act, and he does a bunch of stuff. He plays with all kinds of people. Just three of the amazing people in that band, so they're worth seeing too. So we're looking forward to seeing Rain Parade. And then Vicky Peterson and John Calsil are opening up for the Dream Syndicate January 20th in New York and January 27th in LA. So a couple cool shows. So you'll be in Spain.
For
So
both, for both of those shows. So,
speaking of Spain,
yes,
our guest today is in
that's a
Spain.
perfect segue. That's funny.
Yeah, so we'll be talking to this guy. You want to tell our listeners what we're doing today?
Yeah, we are speaking today with Steve Wynn.
Yes.
And we caught up with him as he was midway or maybe three-quarters of the way through his solo tour in Europe, and we happened to catch up with him as he was literally on the road in Spain.
Right, right. So unfortunately, we didn't get to capture any video because he's in the back of uh this van traveling through northern Spain, I believe. But
Yeah, he was in Galicia.
okay, okay. So unfortunately, no video, but we did get to talk to him, and this was supposed to be a very short couple minutes updating, getting an update from Steve about this record, his live Journeyman record that he released not too long ago, and it was going to be part of our 2023 Paisley Underground new release roundup that he actually penned the name for.
Right.
But it went on a little more than a couple minutes, and we thought that it deserved its own episode.
Absolutely. And so we don't like to cut Steve Wynn off ever because he's always got great things to share and fun stories and anecdotes. So I think we should just jump into it.
Let's do it.
Hi, this is Soraya.
And this is Jeff,
Our podcast is called Paisley Stage Raspberry and Rhyme.
a podcast where the two of us play music that we like and share anecdotes and background about the tunes.
We hope you'll join our conversation. And without further ado, a grooviar.
Let's get groovy.
Hey, Jeff,
Hey,
Buenas tardes.
buenas tardes. ¿Qué tal? Hey,
that is
my Spanish
awesome.
is good. My Spanish is in good shape. Watch out. I can really rapid fire it back at you.
Dang. All right.
Hey,
All right,
are
Jeff, let's do fully bilingual episode. I'm all in.
You would be.
Yep.
I'll be the lone gringo.
Well,
how's
good
my audio sounding?
afternoon.
I'm in the back seat of a VW minivan. How am I sounding?
You sound pretty good. So we're literally on the road with Steve Wynn, and it's for us very early in the morning. So you know what they say, Soraya, the early bird gets the win, right?
Yeah, we do.
Is that what I am?
Indeed. So where in the world is Steve Wynn right now?
Well, I played a city called Orense in Galicia, on the kind of sort of the northwest. I guess you could say the 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 Portland, Oregon of Spain, and now we're heading straight across the country to San Sebastian, one of my favorite cities. We're playing here tonight. I'm
Wow.
on tour. I'm on this day 9 of a 10-city Spanish tour. After having played 8 shows in Scandinavia and a show in Greece, so this is near the end of a long run, and I'm out here on driving. It's about an 8-hour drive today, and I'm being in the driver's seat right now is my friend and support act Herman Salta, who's been playing great shows, and merchandise seller Yuko Murata in the front in the co-pilot seat. So I'm in the back,
So you're being chauffeured around.
like being driven around like Hank Williams right now. Yes, I like it. The life of luxury. And not only that, but Herman's when he's not making great records and playing great shows, his other job is he's a pilot for Iberia Airlines, and
Wow.
he flies all around the world. So I think I'm in pretty good hands right now.
Indeed. So I think for Herman,
Indeed.
probably flying on the ground is wrong. He should be flying in the air.
He would appreciate that they're saying flying on the ground is wrong. See, he's a Neil Young fan. So these guys got that.
Hola,
We're
Herman.
we're having a good time out here. It's been great. And on the heels of the baseball project tour, it's like 50 shows in 3 months. So it's been a really nice time out here on the road.
Perfect. So any highlights from this tour?
Oh, all kinds of highlights. It's been it's been a real mishmash of stuff because starting off in Denmark and Sweden and Norway, with some really great shows. I hadn't played Denmark in a long time, and it was beautiful and freezing cold up there. And then switching right over to Greece, where I met up with Emil Spolder, our friend, and there was a screening of the Dream Snicket documentary down there, and that was a real blast. That was just a fun event, and it was they showed the movie. It was a Q&A with Emil and myself, and then I played a little show. And Greece has always been good for me and for the band, so that was great. And then and it's turned into almost like a completely different tour here because that would been getting up, hopping on a plane, going somewhere, getting up, dusting yourself off, and, unpacking for the afternoon, packing back up again. But now this is more conventional, where you just you travel on the road and look at beautiful highways and read books, and we're having a good time because we're all music fans, so we take turns as DJs every day. So that's makes the drives zoom by.
That's got to be a blast, Steve. So how was the response to the film in Greece?
It was great. It's funny because at this point, it's well, I mean, it's easy for most people to see because it's on Amazon Prime in the U.S. and U.K. and now Germany. Everywhere else on Vimeo, but some people don't know. So I think most of the fans there were seeing it for the first time, and that was fun. So kind of now I've seen it myself, I think 4 times, and I know that Emil did a great job. But it's nice to see people laughing along with it and enjoying it and being excited afterwards and talking to people when it's done. The only thing, man, is Greece is late night culture. So I think they started the movie about 10, and the Q&A was midnight. I played about 1 a.m. So
Wow.
they do things differently over there. It's like going to see the Rocky Horror Picture Show or something like that.
Nice. Were people dressing up like
Little
Steve
midnight
Wynn
showing.
in the audience? Nobody was dressing up, or
They're all dressing up like Paul. They're all just like Paul Cutler. It was crazy.
Perfect.
big afros, and then and chainsaws and power drills.
Nice.
It was good. People got into it. It was fun, and I always love going down there. The shows, I just kind of pinch myself sometimes at how kind the Greek audience has been all these years. I think I've played there now 30 times, and
Wow.
it's just it's wonderful.
So speaking
And
of
good food everywhere, and that's the main thing.
yeah, yeah, we've seen some of your photos and recommendations that you've had from some of the people that you've been traveling with or meeting up. That there's been some pretty good suggestions on food to eat. So I think
I
you're
try
in a
my best.
yeah.
I never know that. I've heard some people say they don't like food posts because I don't know. I'm not sure why with that, but I love looking at people's travels and food things. So I try to keep a measured amount, not overwhelm. But it's a big part of the whole thing. Like the the touring thing is as lots of people know you live for the show every night. The show, the hour and a half on stage is what you're doing it for. But you try to fill the day with other things that keep you engaged and excited. And whether it's like right now I'm looking just beautiful, beautiful Spanish countryside, or you have a great lunch and eat something you've never eaten before. Last night was, great midnight snacks after the show. Yeah, you find the things to really find the unique moment in each day.
Nice. Well, you mentioned, Steve, that you've played Greece 30-ish times. So I imagine on this tour, there's a few places that you're returning to. Is there anywhere new on this tour? Any new cities?
Actually, yeah, yes, actually. I mean, the first part of the tour was all kind of familiar places, cities I've known before, but this particular Spanish tour are several new cities for me, and smaller towns I hadn't been to before. A city named Logroño, where I hadn't been before, and Leoganes was new for me. I think something else early on too. Well, yeah, we had one wonderful show in a city about an hour from Barcelona called Hostales de Balagne, and it was population 3,500, and ended up being one of the best shows of the tour because, as often happens, there'll be a promoter who is determined to get the word out and turn people onto your music, and that happens sometimes in the small. And when you play a big city, you're going to be playing to people who've come over the years and seen you play, or who know the music, or shopped at the cool record store. But you go to these smaller towns sometimes, and it's just a matter of one guy who's good at spreading the word. And those are really gratifying shows because you're making new fans and getting new people excited, and also feeling like you're part of a new family where everybody knows everybody else, and you're the odd man out.
Ah,
And that's a lot of fun. So that was definitely a highlight.
very, very cool. Soraya, there's a new record or a new CD, a new release that we want to talk about, isn't there?
Yes. So, Steve, we wanted to ask about this live release that official
Yeah.
release date November 1st. And we wanted to know, first of all, what made you think this is the right time for a live album? And just give us your thoughts behind it. We're excited for it.
Yeah, this something just shows your new release roundup, right? That's kind
Yeah,
of a part of the theme
indeed.
today.
Yes,
Th-
that is
thank
the
thank
theme
you for
today.
thank you for including me. That's very, very kind of you.
No,
Isn't it? I mean, it's great that all of the people you cover on the show, and the people who've been making records for so long are still putting out new things and being creative. I think it's wonderful, and I've been hearing, on this tour I've been sort of crisscrossing at various times with Dan Stewart, with the Long Riders, with Chuck Prophet. We've all been out here in Europe in various times in the last month, so it's kind of cool. Your friends are still out there. God, I mean, it's crazy to say, but 4 decades on, still doing it. It's wonderful. But to answer your question, yeah, um, the new, I've been touring, I've been playing and touring acoustic since the very beginning, and more lately, doing a lot of solo shows. And I really like these shows. I think weirdly enough, I mean, after 4 decades, I'm starting to get the hang of it. I think when I started playing acoustic, it was like, well, since I don't have the band, I'll go out there and bash it out and pretend like I still have the band with me. And it wasn't like a thing of its own until recent tours where I started finding the beauty of these solo acoustic shows. And the way I often describe it is, when I'm playing with the band, whether it's a baseball project or Dream Syndicate or whoever, I think the show is more or less a case of the people on stage that I'm with. We're all interacting and talking to each other, and the audience can kind of, like, on a good night, watch us, catch fire and get into a good vibe, which is kind of exciting for everybody. But we're in the fishbowl, and we're, check us out while we swim around in circles. But on these solo shows, I'm kind of jamming with the audience. I'm kind of feeling everybody out there, second to second, moment to moment, and riding a wave of just kind of, kicking in louder, softer, more gently, more aggressive, more tense, all these different emotions, second by second, based on what I'm feeling from the audience. That's an exciting thing. And it's why I look forward to these tours and these shows. But I'd never put out an actual live solo acoustic record before. I'd had various, live band records. And I was on tour last May and playing a club just outside of Hamburg called the Music Star. I play it. I think a lot of people on your show have played it before, and I play it often. Cool little place, and they have a great sound system and video and sound set up there. And when I finished the show, it was a particularly good night where I just felt like things were working well. And that guy gave me, a little, recording of the show, and said, "Well, if you want to put it out, feel free. We'd be happy to have you, you know, put out this evening of music."
Wow.
And I went back and listened and went, yeah, that's kind of what I do out here. So it seemed like a good timing with this tour happening and that being so fresh from a recent tour to finally put it out. So it's only 1,000 copies. It's like just a little document to be sold on tour, like we're selling it right now, and then on Bandcamp starting November 1st.
Very cool. And the set list is amazing. You do songs like throughout your career, songs as old as That's What You Always Say, and then even up through Journeyman, which is what you called the CD. So there's a lot covered, and we've been able to. We downloaded, or I bought the album, and we downloaded the songs, and we had a chance to listen to it. And I realized that you'll be shipping the actual physical copies probably next week or in the next week or two. But there's some great versions on this release, Steve. We're really pleased with it.
Thank you. I'm glad it came across. It's, a solo acoustic thing. Sometimes it feels like, when you go make a record with a band, whether it's a live record or studio record, it feels like, well, this is a production, it's a performance, it's a recording, whatever it is. And this is just me with an acoustic guitar, and I feel like, well, I hope it gets across in some way where it feels, like a special thing in some way. And I think these were good interpretations of the songs, so it seemed like a good one to put out there. So I'm glad you liked it. And I've been playing Journeyman at these solo shows for the last 2+ years now, because Peter Buck and I wrote that song about 3 years ago, and it's a cool song because now it's been released by the Baseball Project and it's gotten out there. But it's really kind of, when I sing it, I'm singing about what I'm doing. I'm singing about it's what I'm doing on stage. I'm the guy traveling from town to town and doing what I can do and moving on to the next one when it's all over. So it's very, even as a baseball song, like a lot of the Baseball Project songs, it's as autobiographical as anything.
Perfect. So you're the troubadour out there doing your thing. So
Yeah, I'm the troubadour doing my thing, exactly.
So speaking of troubadour, Soraya,
Yes.
that's a tie for.
That was a good
I
segue.
love where you're going. This is great. Okay, I'm with you.
Help us out, Soraya.
All right. So one of the things that interested us is seeing that you've got a really interesting couple of dates coming up in January of 2024. New York at the Knitting Factory, then Los Angeles at the Troubadour, Dream Syndicate, and then also joining you, Vicki Peterson and John Cowsill. So we were just curious. The 2 dates, was that intentional, or was that just kind of a happy result of a talk with someone?
Touring is so hard. We can't do more than 2 days of a tour anymore. That's done. The story behind that is just that we and this will be announced probably in a few weeks, is that the documentary, how do we find ourselves here, is coming out on DVD and also a soundtrack CD as a single package, and I think in February. So these shows are going to be tied in sort of the documentary release celebration shows, but it hasn't been announced. This is the first, this is the scoop right here. It's going to be kind of the DVD release party.
Oh, that's fabulous.
That's very exciting. So, Soraya,
and we'll be selling them for the first time at the shows. So that's
so we gotta come, Soraya, with start our little budget. So
no. Uh-oh. We'll make them cheap and throw in a free beer.
Excellent.
That's perfect.
So, Soraya, what country will you be in when I know you're not gonna be around Los Angeles, so I'm gonna have to represent.
Don't remind me. Don't remind me. I'm gonna be in Spain. For some reason, Dream Syndicate booking agent and me, we always like to do things separately. So I'm always somewhere else when Dream Syndicate is playing, but I always find a way to figure it out. So don't worry too much about me.
I think you're doing just fine. Is there gonna be a vacation in Spain?
Yes. No, it's time off. It's time off for me.
Time off.
But
Okay, great.
but
Where are
you
you
know,
going? Where are you going to be?
I'm gonna be in and around Madrid. So Madrid, Toledo, Sevilla, and Salamanca. I'm gonna be doing a little bit of everything. So
Nice. That's great.
yes. So unfortunately, me at the Troubadour, but you never know, Jeff. You and I just may decide, pack Chris up in ye old van and go to New York and go to the knitting factory. Who knows?
Oh,
Yeah,
that'd
and
be great to see you there. On the home front for half the band. That'd be wonderful. And it's a new venue that I don't know. The Knitting Factory. They're always opening different venues. They've moved around over the years, and they have a new one in the East Village. Probably, I think it's about 3 blocks from where Jason lives. So his apartment will be the backstage maybe. But
nice.
it's a new Knitting Factory at Baker Falls. They go, so yeah, come on out. That'd be great to see you there.
Jason's Turf, and that's a couple days after Christina's birthday, and Christina loves New York, so we might be able to talk my wife into that. So
it's not it's not Glasgow or Liverpool, but it'll do.
I wanted
Indeed.
to ask a quick question, Steve. So with the live release, one of the things that we noticed is it's released on Down There Records, and we remember a while back speaking with you where you said to us, wait for some new stuff from right, Jeff?
Yep, from
Am I
down
right?
there. So it's down
And
there in
so-
Blue Rose.
Right. So we were just wondering, was this something that you were alluding to back then, or are we just kind of overthinking things?
I think you're overthinking. I can't remember what I was referring to at the time, so I'm not sure. So maybe I'm not sure. The down. I mean, I love keeping the Down There imprint going, and this is actually something I've done. This release, I'm doing it in conjunction with Blue Rose Records, who did a lot of my records in the 90s and in the aughts, German label, and they're the head of the label guy, essentially Edgar Heckman, and I have done these 2 releases before. I did one called Solo Acoustic, one called Solo Electric. I think there was my Bob Dylan tribute record where he'll be a Blue Rose Down There releases, and it works well for him because I say to him, well, you have exclusive distribution for Europe, and then I'll have copies to sell on the road, so everybody's happy. And he's probably done more of my records than anybody else. He's a good guy to work with.
Excellent. So Steve,
So that's I'll tell you, I always think I want to get the Down There label going full time and be the label, for example, for the Dream Syndicate. And that was when we did How Did I Find Myself Here. The idea was to do it to self-release the record on Down There, which I thought would be kind of cool. And then we were fortunate that Anti came along, so they wanted to do it, and they were a great label. They were fantastic for us and good people, and did the 3 records with us. And after those 3, that it was time to move on for them and for us. And I was going to do the last record on Down There, and then Fire Records came along, and they've been great. So eventually the label still exists, sort of, but at the end of the time, I'm always happy to be be outbid for my own label.
Perfect.
That's great. So Steve, this brings us to our last question, and you are such a busy man and always out doing something. You are the Troubadour. If it's not Dream Syndicate, Baseball Project, you're doing your own solo show, something's always going on. What can we expect in 2024 from Steve Wynn, or a project related to Steve Wynn?
Well, I was just actually writing to Linda, my wife, Linda Pittman, drummer extraordinaire, about a half hour ago, joking that after this tour, I'm going to be self-unemployed. I'm going to be off the road for about half a year, for the most, except for those Dream Syndicate shows, because I really want to get hunkered down and write new material for a solo record and for a Dream Syndicate album. I'm hoping to record both in the new year. And I don't know if as he calls himself, my facilitator, Pat Thomas, would want me to say this, but I believe my autobiography, my memoir, will be coming out officially at the end of next year. So I have to finish that as well. So the first half of next year is going to be a lot of writing and probably less time doing what I'm doing at this very moment, being in a van, traveling, being a journeyman. There'll be less journeyman, more homebody.
Perfect, because we know there's going to be some outcome from that period for sure. So if you have a chance to write, yep.
I was just talking to my traveling companion Herman about that. We're talking about how we love playing live, but there's that, you get that point after you've been on tour for a while where you're having a great time. You start getting hungry for new things to play. You say, okay, I know these songs, I played them a lot, I kind of know what to do with them, and I need some new surprises. And you get to that point where it's, you just like, you just get excited to have something new to say, something different. And then when that happens, it comes out and you're just raring to go to get back out there again.
Ah, perfect. Very exciting. Well, Soraya, if we don't make it to New York, I'm definitely going to be at the Troubadour show, so I'll
Yeah.
be able to report out on that. But let's think about this New York trip.
Think about the New York trip.
Yes, that would be great.
You never know.
You know, I haven't properly plugged. Vicky and John are doing their duo thing for the first time. I think they're doing one warm up thing right this month, but pretty much that's going to be their debut of whatever they're going to do. And I have no idea what it's going to be like. I've got some ideas, but not really. So it'll be fun to see what they come up with, and it's going to be great.
Yep, on the same episode, we'll be asking that same question. So we'll be talking to the two of them.
Oh, I'll be
Also,
listening.
Perfect. All right, Steve. All right, Herman. You guys drive carefully, and thank you so much for taking time out of this trip to touch base with us and keep us up to date. We really appreciate it.
It's been fun talking to you from the van. It's a great way to do it.
Oh, we love it. On the road with Steve Wynn.
On the road. Yep. All right.
All right,
Take
you
care,
guys.
Steve. Thank you.
I hope to see you in New York, and if not, I'll see you somewhere soon, I'm sure.
Sounds
Indeed.
good.
All right, you guys have a safe trip and enjoy the last couple shows.
Thanks so much. I'll see you soon.
All right, sounds good, Steve. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So happy to hear all these things from Steve.
He's great.
Look, he's always busy, always got something in the works. This live album, again, it's available on Bandcamp, but it's a limited release, 1,000 copies. So, get on it.
Yeah, I don't know how many he sold on the road. I imagine he'll bring some back to New York.
Ask him that. That was an oversight, but
yeah, last I heard there was about 70 copies left of the 1,000. So there may be more coming back from the road, but Bandcamp is a good place to get it while Bandcamp is still operating.
Yes.
That was who knows how
that's a whole other topic.
Indeed.
But nice to know Dream Syndicate shows LA and New York, and I like that bookmarking of it, two coasts, but also tied into a really, really good event too, and that's a DVD release.
Yes,
what a great
soundtrack.
And soundtrack. Fabulous. Lots of good stuff. I am intrigued to see that soundtrack.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I'm sure there'll be songs that were included. I imagine it's probably like a greatest hits. We don't know. But I wonder if they'll throw some live stuff. Who knows? I know our friend Pat Thomas knows about that. Speaking of Pat Thomas, did you catch that about the memoir?
Yes, I did. And as Steve said, I'm not sure if Pat wants me to talk about it, but here it is. But you know what? That is a story. That is someone's life story that I really want to read.
Yeah.
We, here and there you hear bits and pieces from Steve himself, but also, articles that have been written. It's going to be nice to hear him talk about his life and his life's work.
Yeah, absolutely.
In his own voice. So,
and of all of the guests that we've had, Soraya, particularly focused on the Paisley Underground core bands, Steve is the one guy from the beginning and continuing on now and presumably into the future. He's the one guy that's been consistently doing something this entire time. Whereas we talked about Rain Parade taking a 30-year break, and even though they did some stuff with the Hellenes and Viva Saturn and stuff, there's some years where nothing was happening. Same with members of the 3 O'Clock, the Bangles that we know. But Steve, this entire time, has been doing something. If it's Gutterball, bringing back Dream Syndicate, solo stuff. He released the decade box set, and there's all these releases, like Steve Wynn solo releases. So he's the one guy that's been consistently out there doing his thing this entire time.
Right.
So and he's such a great storyteller. So I can only imagine some of the experiences that he's had over the years, being based out of Los Angeles and then in New York. So this is going to be a very interesting read.
What was interesting to me was Steve saying, I'm going to take some time off the road for about half a year. And you and I both know that can only spur much more material, because he said, I want to write some solo stuff, Dream Syndicate stuff, and then, these other projects that he's working on, like this memoir. But you and I both know he cannot stay still for too long before we start saying, here's a couple of songs. Here's something we're working on. I'm all for it. All for it.
Absolutely.
And there's always something, he always brings something good to the table. So 2024 is going to be a busy year for Steve Wynn, but I think as fans, we're going to get quite a bit.
Absolutely.
Really good stuff to look forward to.
And as we say, we're here for it.
Every single bit and minute. So,
indeed.
But yeah, very cool for him to check in from the road. And looking forward to all good things coming in the coming year from Steve Wynn. So, mi gente, I think this is it. Agruviar.
Groove on, Paisley people. And here comes the sun. It's really good from a phone. So this is perfect.
That's great. I'm so sad to miss you in San Diego on the baseball project thing.
Yeah. I had tickets to see you guys pre-COVID, and I was so waiting to be able to see you guys, and it was such a bummer, because I really want to see you guys play again. I saw you guys at the Belly Up, a couple San Diego shows. I know you did the Soda Bar, and I think it was
yes.
I think it was the Belly Up.
We did Soda Bar and my brain right now, the place I always play was the mainstay there. It's only the club I played like 4 times. I'm spacing on it right now, down by the airport.
Casbah.
Thank you. Exactly, yeah.
Yep,
So
that's what it was. It wasn't Belly Up, it was Casbah. Yeah.
That was it. Yeah, Casbah.
Yeah.
It was a fun show. It was fun, but I think the tour was so good, so I think we're gonna keep it going. Do more stuff.
It sounds like you all get along really well.
We do. We actually, and it was amazing. We were playing. At one point, we played 19 shows in 21 days, doing 2 sets a night, and we stayed, happy and in a good mood the whole time. It was everyone had a great time.
Nice. And the drummer's pretty nice.
The drummer's pretty nice, as it turns out. Yes, exactly. I'm the one person on the tour who shares a room. And no complaints.
Perfect.